All right, we good.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
we're good.
Hello,
Much
everybody.
better. There we go. Hold on a second here.
I need to...
Do some adjusting here. Good morning. Sunday morning. Have I shown you that yet?
Sunday morning.
Have you not? Have I still not shown that to you?
No.
Okay, hold on.
I was like, what the heck?
Chat, he hasn't seen the Nancy Pelosi glitch mode.
Oh, I have seen that. Okay, yes, I've
But
seen
there's
that.
a thing where people put her face on a sun,
Oh,
and the sun comes up, and it's
no.
like, good morning, Sunday morning.
Oh, no.
Good morning.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Did they, like, replace the baby face from the
Yes.
Teletubbies?
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can put this in here.
I need to adjust my microphone.
Hold on, son. Here, hold on. Let's see. There it is.
Okay. Oh, my God. Oh, God.
And that's it.
That
That's it.
is-
And they
that
play it
is
on loop.
creepy.
Oh, it's so funny, dude.
That is creepy.
It's so good, dude.
I don't like that.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello, you boobs.
I know my boobs are showing too. I need to lose my boobs.
No, that's what I started calling chat is boobs.
Oh, boobs. Hey, boobs.
What is up, you boobs?
I'm gonna try something.
It's like
Can we
Horton.
try-
Horton hears a who,
Yeah.
right? It's like, I'm not a boob. You're a boob.
You're a boob. I love. My mom used to call it the boob tube when I was growing up
Why?
because they're all the people.
What
on
is
it were
that? What are you
boobs.
doing?
I'm trying to put my microphone at a different angle, like up front now. See if you like that better. I like it better because then it's like
And
I'm not
you're-
going like this. I feel like I can just, it's kind of like S and a D, right? You got to line up.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
How's that, chat?
I like that.
You got to kind of line up,
You gotta.
Let me pull up YouTube chat
I
here.
don't know. I don't know about this. I don't. This is a weird angle.
See, for me, I like it coming at me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of those mornings, chat. I have to admit, so like I'm like pushing through some. I don't like to use the words anxiety and depression because I feel like those are clinical terms. I'm just down, so I'm trying to push through it. So I apologize in advance.
He's pushing through the down.
Instead of a system of a down, I'm pushing through the down. That's my band name.
Have you seen the?
What is this tickling? What?
Have you seen the cat video with System of a Down? They did Down with the Sickness, but it's got a cat
But it's got a
going.
cat?
The cat literally goes. "Ah."
That's awesome. That's actually really awesome. That's funny. I like that. That's good.
So, like the music is like. "Dun, dun, 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 dun."
That's funny. That's good. I like System
No,
of a
not
Down.
that noise.
Yeah, no, I'm just, oh baby.
Speaking of that song though, and Down with the Sickness, do you know how that actually happened? Like how he made that noise for the first time? Yeah,
Nah.
he had pneumonia, and they were playing the intro to the song, and he thought his mic was off, and so he was like, like trying to clear his throat before he started singing, and they were like, "We love that. Do that again."
Are you serious?
Dead.
That's
Like-
hilarious.
Like no cap. That's how that happened.
You know what? I should have got coffee this morning.
Yeah.
That might have helped me.
Yeah.
12 hours of sleep and, well, not 12, 10 hours of sleep and some
Like
coffee
a
would have probably done me
coffee.
some good.
Coffee. A joint.
Dude. So in Colorado, so you say that, man. First of all, I did see an article, like this is just off the cuff stuff. This isn't like a topic I want to cover, but they
Yeah.
did say that the Senate is expected to pass the
The Moores Act.
no, the one that so it was voted in the House last year, like at the end of
It's
2020.
The Moore Act.
The one for marijuana legalization.
That's the
Oh,
Moore
is that
Act.
they're calling it the
Yeah,
Moore
yeah.
Act? And it's probably because of, is there like a, why is it called the Moore Act? Do you know? Oh, is it MORE or MOORE? Do you know?
MOORE.
So it's named after somebody. I don't know. We'd have to
Yeah.
look into it. But anyway, so yeah, so they're expected to pass that, which means the prohibition of marijuana
Will be done.
will be done
Yeah, yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Huge news. I'm not a huge fan of Democratic policy in a lot of ways, but
I'm not a huge fan of policy.
yeah, I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I think that it's a good way of saying it. I think is true. But if they do that, that would be great. But the reason my brain went down that path is because you said coffee in a joint. Well, out in Colorado,
Do they have edible coffee?
No, there's coffee with weed in it.
That's what I'm saying. Edible coffee.
Yeah, it's edible coffee basically.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so you
God.
basically get a can of coffee, and it's black coffee with THC in it, and it's cold, right? It's like a cold thing, and then you can just sit there and slug that in the morning. Dude, are you kidding me? That's like
Dude, how would that work though?
Oh, it's
That'd be
perfect.
like, okay, that's like the equivalent of taking a sleeping pill and an Adderall
So-
at the same time.
So it depends because as I've become more of a consumer on a frequent basis,
Yeah.
I actually don't get tired as much. So the more I think that you consume it, you
No,
don't
but it
get
like
tired.
relaxes you, right?
Right, it does. It relaxes you, but so I was trying to
So
explain
like
this to
your
my aunt.
brain is gonna go 1,000 miles an hour, and then your
Correct.
body's like, nah, son.
Nah, son, right. But no, I actually my cousin has started doing it. My aunt was like, you need to talk some sense into him. Well, it's like the only reason I don't think you should be doing it right now is because his prefrontal cortex isn't done. I was like, but after that, I was like, it helps me focus. There are nights like when I'm working on stream stuff or something
Yeah.
where I can't focus on it because I'm like, oh, I want to play video games or something.
Right.
But then as I start to smoke, all of a sudden my brain goes, focus on this thing, and then I focus. and I
Focus
get it
really
done.
hard on
Right,
this care
on
package.
This one thing, right? Yeah, and then get dome, and it makes everybody jump. For those of you who don't know, there was a night that Mac and I were very medicated playing video games.
Yep.
And we were both watching. I died in the gulag. He comes down. He's at a loadout, and he's laying on the loadout. And it wasn't like a short amount of time. Like he was doing focusing, doing it.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he gets domed by this sniper.
Dude, and it sounded
it
so
was
loud.
so loud. It was as if he was right on top of him with the rifle.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. He was like
He was pretty good away.
200 meters out, right?
Yeah.
And it just scared both of us. He threw his mouse across the room. I threw my mouse on my desk and went like this. Like it was so scary, dude. It was so scary.
So
Not
funny.
scary. It was like a spook
It was
or a
startling.
startling. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a startle, man. I was like, whoa, God.
It was
Because
so
we
funny.
both did.
Yeah.
Like it goes, well, bam. And then, of course, because we're both medicated, about
Ah,
a
fuck.
second and a half later, we're like, ah. Yeah, that was crazy. But anyway, yeah.
This is my
so-
literal reaction. Ha!
Throw the mouse. Get it.
No.
It's like a spider, you just throw your mouse
Ha, ha,
at
ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, no. So, but yeah, so that's the thing is like, man, it's coming. If it
Yeah,
gets legalized,
I'm excited about
and then
it.
you can come over, right, when we're doing the show later on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
like later after this happens. You can come over at like 9 o'clock.
We can have a
like,
real blunt
and-
show.
Yeah, yeah, and we can bring out the coffee, right?
Yeah.
and we can drink
Yeah.
one at 9, and then
Yeah.
we can have the show start at 10, and we'll be feeling real good.
Yeah.
And we'll be having.
I like it.
And it'll go forever. The
I
show,
like it.
The show will go for like 4.5 hours.
Oh, for sure. They'll
they'll
be
be
like, hey, guys, how long have we been live?
oh God. Yeah. So
No, so what I'm excited about for the Moores Act. Sorry, that one side was up and it was bothering
Yeah.
me.
I mean, it's mono, so it's not that huge of a deal. But
It still bothers me.
I know it's fun. He just changed a left and right mix on the mixer, and we're
by like an
broadcasting mono.
eighth of an inch.
Yeah.
Like
And well,
not
I mean, don't get me wrong. When I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it needs corrected.
You're
But then I'm
right.
like, it's mono, so it doesn't matter.
I don't care though. It bothers me.
Yeah, I got you. Anyway, so Moore's Act. What is it that has you excited about it?
With the Moores Act, it legalizes marijuana or decriminalizes it or whatever.
Right. I think it
removes the
reschedules it.
prohibition.
It
Yeah,
reschedules
yeah.
it down to like where alcohol is scheduled, which is like
So for heart surgery patients like me
uh-huh.
and guys that have mechanical heart valves, it's actually been proven that THC lowers your risk of stroke and
Oh yeah,
and,
dude.
and
Oh.
other heart attacks and other symptoms. So I can get off of blood thinners
Mhm.
and just smoke a joint a day.
Yeah.
Like
And it also helps with PTSD.
yeah.
It helps with, dude, that's been my biggest. So I went to a rally in Indianapolis 2 years ago, and we filled
Like a
this
youth
huge
rally?
room. No, not no Pentecostal thing. It was like a marijuana, dude,
I
the
know.
craziest mix of people. I was actually blown away more by the diversity of the crowd
Right.
than anything. I had military guys that were like, we're not, okay, so you're military, so you have to take some of the stuff I say with a grain of salt.
Yep. I don't.
I have
to.
judgments about certain types of military people.
Okay.
You have a couple of different types. You have the guy who wears his fatigues to the grocery store that I judge heavily.
So the douchebag.
The douchebag, right?
Yep.
Then you have the guy that when you look at him in his garb, like if he's in his garb, I go
In his uniform.
like in his uniform,
Okay, yeah.
right? If he's in his uniform, but he looks military, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's totally cool. Like he's got the clean shaven,
Yeah.
boots are shine, like he looks like tip top. I'm like, that guy takes it seriously.
Right.
And then there's like the half-ass military guy, right?
There's the reservist.
Right. Yeah. And like, so they each have their own look, right?
Right.
All of them were there. And also across all age spectrums, there were guys in their 50s that looked like they had been career military. You know, even when they're standing with the pose, right? Like even in their conversation, perfect posture the whole time.
Rest. Yeah.
And they're sitting there talking, and it's like this guy that's been in the military his whole life, and he's like, I'm here on behalf of veterans with PTSD. And I'm going, this is so weird. This is not what I expected to see.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, then you turn like 3 degrees to the left, and there's this old hippie dude who's got a beard down to his nuts.
Hey,
and
bro.
He's like, "This."
Have you ever tried biofuel?
Yeah. And then there's
Sorry, I immediately went to Cars. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you do, right? And then you have
no, like Cars, the cartoon.
Yeah, the
movie.
cartoon. Yeah, the movie. Yeah, I know the hippie car, the van or whatever.
Biofuel, man.
Yeah, man. And then but then you take a 180 degree, you turn all the way around, and then there's a whole bunch of doctors, and there was a bunch of doctors, and
Yeah.
that actually is where I really kind of modified why my position was my position, if that makes sense, because they were talking about. So they did a study. There's been a few medical studies on marijuana, and one of them was like all they did was they went through all these journals, and they looked at all the people who use cannabis, and then they looked at death rates based on certain diseases.
Right.
And then also their how do I say it? Their occurrences of diseases within people. And people who smoke weed on a regular basis, and I think they define regular as 3 times a week. So
Okay.
someone who smoked weed at least 3 times a week.
So the same as like cigarettes or alcohol.
Right. Yeah. Like
3
or
times
like
a
people who
week.
drink 3 times a week.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So they went through it, and like their cases of diabetes were like 10% of that of the normal population. People who didn't smoke. Their cases of death were 10% of that.
Which are weird because like especially with diabetes, because when you get high, you kind of want to eat some shit.
Yeah, no, but the other things too, obesity was lower.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you eat a lot when you smoke, right? And like you go through all these things, and they start talking about all this stuff, and then they start talking about heart disease and all these other things. And it was like they were like, honestly, weed is showing more now that it's actually better for you to do it than to not do it.
Yeah.
Even with smoking. So
I got a quick question. What's wrong with our YouTube?
It's paused.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm not using all my bandwidth
All right.
on 3 videos.
I was like,
the chat still works, so we'll be able to see if someone's chatting
Okay.
there. But yeah. So anyway, but yeah, like it's just it's an awesome thing, and I'm sound like one of those homeopathic hippies, but it's a natural thing that helps with absolutely everything. Almost.
Yeah.
And so like with the stuff that I deal with personally, I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression, it feels like. And after I've been smoking, which I didn't smoke for the past couple of days, and I'm not feeling so good right now.
Right.
And then like IBS and all these other medical issues, it's good stuff. But anyway, enough about that. Chad, do you have anything you want to talk about before we get into it? Because we've got a couple of things we want to talk about. Well, I'll give you the highlights so that you guys don't double up. One is a 9-year-old girl getting maced by the police. 2
Genius.
is going to probably be the last topic. We'll probably talk about Wall Street bets and what's going on with GameStop right now.
GameStop.
GameStonks. GME, the stock. And also, it's more than that. It's actually Wall Street bets is a better topic because it covers all the things that are happening. Yeah. And then the third was, hold on, I'm trying to remember what you said on the phone. You said it. It was 2.
Executive orders.
Yes, EOs. We're going to start with that one because like,
bruh,
I had just had this discussion, an argument with someone last week about Joe Biden and Donald Trump and executive orders as a whole. Like I went back through the history of executive orders and stuff. And then I was like, okay. And then you brought it up today. So I definitely feel like we both have.
I mean, it's a huge topic right now.
But it's only a huge topic to people on the right because it's not their guy doing it. right? I mean, like to you and I who don't care, we
I don't
hate,
care
we hate 'em
either
all,
way.
we take issue with
I-
it, period.
You're right. Right.
I think that
I take issue with just the raw number.
I
Like,
my hashtag for that, by the way, is the monarchy returns. That's what I call it, the monarchy.
oh my god.
Because like we're getting to the point where it's like, what's the point of Congress? Like
Right.
just hire some guy, let him make his decrees
Right.
from his throne.
Shorten the terms down to 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Get rid of Congress. Get
Yeah.
rid of the House.
Yeah, and just let guys come in and just willy-nilly
do some stuff.
pendulum swing us back and forth on policy.
Right.
Trans people can't be in the military. Trans people can be in the military. Trans people can't be in the military. You know,
The
let's just do
military
it.
can't be anything. Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. So that's how it feels. But anyway, and then I mean, really the Wall Street bets, and I'm going to talk about my personal experiences because I had it happen yesterday because I actually wanted to join in because I wanted to do a big FU to the to basically hedge funds, and
Yeah.
I wanted to really kind of take that to the next level, and it wouldn't let me. So we'll talk about that at the end.
Oh.
Now it wouldn't let me trade. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
On Robinhood?
No, I actually went to was it E-Trade? I have an account apparently that my dad told me about. He was like, "You have an account with a bunch of money in it. Go use that." And I was like, "Cool." And then I went and it wouldn't let me trade. So it basically was saying that I was a day trader. And I was like, "I've never traded on this account before." So well, I have like 10 years ago, but because of the stock that I chose to put a buy order in, they labeled me as a trending day trader. Which see, we're gonna talk about. It's too much. It's too much to
that's
talk
a
about.
lot.
We'll talk about it at the end because it's crazy how the requirements work.
Let's
for you
talk
to go
about
do
the
that.
important thing right now. What's the important thing right now?
I am not playing Call of
EOs?
Duty. I know he's gonna say it. I'm not playing Call of Duty.
What the fuck is that headband?
Yo, bro, it's Sweaty America, bro. This is my sweaty headband. This is normally what I wear on my streams.
That's the casually sweaty community.
That's my casually
man.
sweaty community thing. But I just felt like putting up because my hair was looking like shit around the edges. So I was like, this is a savior.
You know that's called your face, right? The edges around your hair.
I meant like the crown. I need to get a haircut really bad. I'm gonna try and get a haircut because hopefully
My hair was looking like shit around the edges.
So next Monday, I hate you're so the Marine rapper, and there was another gentleman,
Topher.
right?
Yes. His name is Christopher, but
Okay, we call him Topher.
his rap name is Topher.
Okay. We were originally gonna have him here today, but due to me being extremely anal on how I like to do things,
He said anal chat.
I wanted to have it be more where you guys could see them talking because our capability is going to be audio only.
Right.
But it's a really important topic, and I guess they just hit.
So the Patriot just hit #1 on Billboard's hip hop list.
Okay.
So like Billboard, bro.
Right.
Like,
And I would like to have them. So basically, Mac is going to talk with him and record it probably at home.
yeah.
And then it's going to be uploaded to our YouTube, which you should all be subscribing to. And basically, we want that up there because I think it's a good time. It's a good time to talk about it,
Right.
especially when he's back to #1. So it's like redemption, right? Like we're there.
Yep.
And we need to. I also think that we should support it. I listen to the song. Song's fantastic. I actually showed it to a couple of buddies of mine that are military and was like, "Hey, this guy used to be a Marine,
Yeah.
you know, and check this out. It's pretty cool." So I mean, it definitely has a good feeling to it. It's hip hop, but it's like that serious realm of hip hop.
Well,
it's not
it's like 90s hip hop rap.
It's
It's like a good
like
story.
Coolio is what I would argue is what.
Yeah,
it
or like
reminds me of.
Tupac.
Yeah, Coolio and Tupac is what I got
Yeah.
the vibes of. Yeah, which I love, by the way. It's like my favorite style of rap. It's the
Because
rap that I grew up on.
it's storytelling.
Yes, I want
Right?
a story told.
Like
right?
it's not just somebody sitting on a microphone going, Molly Perkins says, Molly Perkins says.
Yeah, I don't know. Did
Molly
you ever hear
Perkins
that one
says,
song?
What the fuck is that?
Did you hear that one song, that rap song that actually made it to the top of the charts? Like this happened like 10 years ago, where the guy just goes. I'm literally doing it. It's exactly how he does it.
You're talking about every Pearl Jam song ever.
No, that's not Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder, dude. Oh my god, I'm glad you're with me on that. Dude. I cannot stand it. When I sing his songs.
What the hell?
Oh, yeah, can't understand a word that I'm saying. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and I don't wanna hear again.
Dude, I didn't know. We've not talked about this, by the way. This is a new thing that I've learned, that he is the same, like, has the same opinion of Eddie Vedder singing as I do, dude.
It's so
The,
bad.
the only time he sang was when he did he did a cover of Last Kiss, which is like an old song. That's the only time that mother trucker, what's the word I'm looking for? Enunciated in his life. I was like, oh my God, did he say, oh where has can my baby be?
Where will my baby be?
But he still
But then he still didn't enunciate because he's like, how long away from me?
Yeah,
like, what words is that?
I know, dude. It's so terrible. I'm so glad you're on the same page, because people give me so much crap for that, right? Because like
I'll send you a YouTube video. It's the best.
You'll have to show it to me, because
Potato away.
Oh no. Oh God. Yeah, we'll have to show it later. Anyway, so Eddie Vedder sucks, and looks like Kayla's here. Hey Kayla, what's up? Sorry, YouTube chat's a little hard for me to see. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hello, Kayla. Welcome to the podcast.
Let me pull it up on my phone so that I can actually roll. God, there we go. Kayla, hey, how's it going? You day trader? Yeah. So see, I got labeled as day trader.
Day trader.
There we go. Okay, I can see.
You're
chat.
A trader to
Thank
the
you.
crown.
Good morning. I like your picture on YouTube. That's good. So anyway, so we got way off track. Let's talk about the fact that Joe Biden, in his first week. Okay, so the 20th, and we just hit. We're not even in second week. We're not even second week full completion. We are in the second week.
We're in the second week now.
Right, it hasn't been completed.
Right.
And he's
so
up
it's
to,
like 9 days.
Yeah, we're like
10 days.
It's the first
20th.
So it's been 12 days.
12 days.
Yeah. Wednesday will be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So no, 13. Yeah.
Yeah.
13 days, and how many executive orders?
40.
40. So I just want to put real quick, I don't even have to pull this up. I think Donald Trump had 396 in his entire 4-year term, which was almost, if you go at rate of term, almost double what George W. Bush and President Obama had done. They had 400 around 400. I'm ballparking.
Over 2 terms.
Over 2 terms.
Right.
Donald Trump had 400 in 1 term.
Right.
Joe Biden is at 40 in a week. And keep in mind, he has 208 weeks as president.
Do you know what the projection for that would be?
No.
4,167 executive orders.
That is beyond.
In his 4 years. So if he does 4 years and then gets voted out, that's 4,167 executive orders.
If I remember correctly, Woodrow Wilson over a term of 12 years had 3,900.
Right.
Because he had not Woodrow. Yeah. So there's only been one president. No, that was a Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
I think it was Teddy Roosevelt.
It was Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah. Because FDR also, both of the Roosevelts, both who are triumphed by the left, they both had nearly 4,000. Nearly 4,000 executive orders. And while I'm doing this, actually,
while you're looking that up, you want to hear a sidebar fact?
What?
Do you know how Teddy Roosevelt got his name?
I don't know if I want to know. It's a weird time.
The Teddy part?
Yeah, the Teddy part. How did you get the Teddy part?
So
one sec, Kayla, I can't reach out for a second.
There was the teddy bears hadn't been invented yet, right? And so
right, yeah, okay.
He was out bear hunting and didn't shoot a baby bear. And then like the story goes that like he helped invent the teddy bear. And so then he got the name Teddy Roosevelt.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
because he thought the kids would like to be friends with bears. I don't know.
Executive orders by president, I guess.
Yeah,
Let's look this up here. Let me see here. Executive orders, the American.
By first 100 days?
No, I'm just going to go overall.
Overall?
Because it's a lot easier.
Okay.
Executive order.
Chronological.
Count by president. Wiki. I had this up.
Wikipedia.
Dude, this is so crazy. I was literally looking at this and it was Google searchable instantaneously. And this was a week and a half ago. And now I can't find the chart that had every single, it was just a chart and just showed every single, this is insanity to me. Like How many executive orders did each president make? Let me see here. Yeah, so like George Washington, for instance, had 8, right?
Which is
Oh, here we go. Okay, all right. So let me change
which is
this.
weird because first president and all. Like he should have had a lot more.
Okay, Franklin Delano Roosevelt had 3,721. Teddy Roosevelt had 1,081. This also gives us a chart, average per year. Okay, so this is the best way to do it. Average per year. So Teddy Roosevelt had 145 average per year.
FDR had 290.
307 is what I see for FDR for
Av-
average per year.
Yeah,
Per
yeah,
year
yeah.
president. Yep, 307.
So I have 290.6.
Oh, cool. You got.
But
a
it's
good
like
chart
the
there.
orders per year in office by president.
So one of the things that people say is that Donald Trump was setting record levels, right? So Obama had 35, George W. Bush had 36 per year. George H.W. Bush had 42. So he actually had more than his son. Ronald Reagan had 48. So like executive orders haven't been like, okay, so let's do it that way. That's actually a great way to say this. So Donald Trump had 55 on average per year.
Per year.
He's already at 40 in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
So he's almost exceeded a yearly average in under 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's insanity. Like that,
Yeah.
just that alone, just comparing
I
that
mean,
stat.
what was Obama's yearly average? Hold on. Let me
Barack Obama's year, total was 276 across 8 years for an average of 35 a year.
Yeah. So I have it. The information thing that I have, it says 33.6 a year.
Right. I think
Right.
this is rounding, and there's
Yeah.
sometimes there's a difference too between an executive order and a resolution, but we kind of put them in the same bucket. This might be
Right.
like categorically looping those in, and that might
Right.
not.
And this may be just separating it.
Yeah. So I mean,
so
it
like
just depends.
33, let's just say 34 because 33.6, right? He's already exceeded
Right.
the man that he was vice president
Vice
for.
president for. Right. Yeah.
He's already exceeded Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. He's almost tied with George H.W. Bush. He's only, according to my chart, only 7 behind Ronald Reagan. And almost half of Jimmy Carter.
That's crazy. And I want to make a segue because Trump's going to come
And
up.
that's
with
it.
this.
That's years, right?
Right.
So those are years. He's half of Jimmy Carter's yearly average in 2 weeks.
Right. The big dogs. Right.
The
Like
big
the bigger
guys.
dogs. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. And then a lot of people are arguing or even saying, and I agree. I mean, I agree with the idea, but he's undoing a lot of what Trump has done.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. Once again, I don't think that executive order should be that kind of a thing. Like, well, I didn't like what the last
Right.
guy did. But I also have like a childlike dream of government running like the way that I was taught government is supposed to run.
Right.
And it doesn't. And it's garbage. But so one of the things about Trump, so Trump only signed 4 in his first week.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I didn't like, but also kind of like, and they don't understand it, is the media made fun of Trump for giving the pen. So like if he would sign an executive order for something
Yeah.
that was going to benefit someone, he would have them there for the signing.
Right.
And then he would hand them the pen,
Yeah.
right? Like, I want you to keep the pen, right?
Yeah.
And the media made fun of it. They thought it was laughable, stupid, because he would hold the pen out. It was a little weird. That part was weird. And then he would hand them the pen. To me, if I was a member of some community that had been disenfranchised and a president was doing what he thought was right for me and I supported it and I wanted it, and then he signed an executive order in front of me and he gave me that pen would mean so much to me and would
Yeah.
be something I would put in a glass case. And then when people would come over, be like, what's that? I'd be like, that's the pen where the president of the United States signed an
Well,
executive order for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm
So
saying? Like, to me, that's symbolic.
My thought on that is like, that's the power, right? That pen had the
Yes.
power to change my
Right.
life.
It was so for the people.
Right.
It was such a, yes,
And it's like it's not like it's a pre-thought out thing, right?
correct.
But it's almost like a nonchalant, like, here you go. This is what matters. This is the symbol, right?
Right. This is the symbol of my power giving it to you.
Right.
And it's the powers of the people. right?
Right.
Which is something that even like original black activists, like during Malcolm X's time, would say
Right.
power to the people, right? Like
Right.
those are things that were said. This is important. Like this is a value that I think Americans hold very dear, is that we want the power.
Right.
As the citizens, we want the power. I got the power. Dang, dang. Anyway, different song. Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, so like you want it, right? But I think that like I said, I didn't like a lot about Donald Trump. I didn't like his
Right.
attitude, but I actually liked the symbolism of handing someone the pen. I thought it was a pretty cool gesture.
Yeah.
But you know, we're also still from the old school thing, like you were talking about, writing a thank you letter. That's one that I kind of get away from in some ways, but
Right.
but
Or like a thank you email.
But if it's a well thought out gift or something though, I will go out of my way to say thank you,
Right.
like in a different way
Right.
than just saying hey thanks.
Well, you know, I was talking about, because one of your friends gave me a bow, so I
Right.
can go bow hunting this year at
Right.
a lot smaller cost than what it will be.
Right.
Would be usually. And I was like, you know, I write him a thank you letter, because like that's
Right.
what you do. You write him a little thank you note, and you're like, well, it'd mean more to him if you like killed a deer, like took a
Right.
picture of
Yes.
it. And I'm like, well, in that case, I'll just give him part of the deer. Like
Right. Exactly.
that's how you say thank you.
Yes, you show appreciation through other things, and that's
Right.
always been my thing. Because I don't like when people buy me gifts, because I don't. So, for instance, someone got me a sweatshirt for Christmas.
Right.
It's super comfortable. This is one of them. My wife got me this one, and my friends got me one that says Mouse Rat from Parks and Rec. It's the band.
Yep.
It's a Mouse Rat hoodie. I love Parks and Rec. And
I
knew
do
that.
too.
So they got me a hoodie, and I was wearing it all the time. And one of their exchange students was like, "You're just wearing it around us because we got it for you for Christmas." And I'm like, "No, I wear things, and if they're comfortable,
Right.
like I wouldn't
Right.
wear it, right? But my appreciation is also showing you, like,
Right.
I love this hoodie.
Like my
Right.
mom got me this hoodie, right?
Right.
I typically don't like the feel of these type of hoodies, because it's not like a cotton type thing. It's like
A
a
little stretchy, kind of a.
it's like a
that
neoprene.
water resistant one.
Yeah, like
See, I
like
love
it's got
hoodies.
that, like,
I love hoodies like this. See, that's like
I
oh,
don't
God.
like them.
Ah,
But
I
on
love
the
that.
inside,
It's soft.
it's got like that cottony, like nice.
Mhm. It's very important.
I like it.
Yeah, right. And you wear it, and that's
And it's
appreciation.
oversized. It's super big.
Right. But we've gotten
Hides
away
my
from
jelly
that
fat.
as a society, and then Donald Trump. So, but this ties into a whole thing with Donald Trump. See, we went off
Right.
of executive orders here, but just for a second, did you guys ever see the video where they're making fun of him for putting ketchup on a 38-day dry-aged filet mignon? So he takes a 38-day dry-aged filet mignon and he puts a ketchup. And now, keep in mind, it's not like Heinz. It's like a fancy ketchup, right?
But Heinz is fancy ketchup.
Well, it is. It's called fancy ketchup. And I wouldn't even care if it was Heinz. If that's how the dude likes to eat his steak,
Let him eat his steak, man.
that way. But the thing is, so one of the things that someone I listened to was talking about is he was like, you know, but that speaks to people who are poor and have to eat cheap crap steak and put ketchup on it in order to wolf that down and swallow it. To me, Donald Trump, in a lot of ways, for a rich guy, he was really good at capturing the sentiment and understanding of the pleb.
Right.
Right. And so I think that it's important that
Good
we,
Lord.
I think it's important that we actually admire that about him. I actually
Yeah.
liked that about him. I think that he was able to get into basically everyone's psyche below in a lot of ways.
Right.
And he also drove a lot of people absolutely crazy just because they had derangement syndrome. But I just, yeah, I liked
Right.
it. But anyway, back to the executive orders. And here's the thing. When it's that many executive orders, I can't keep up, man. With Trump, at least it was 4, and I had time to consume.
Right. I have time
digest what's
to
happening.
know what's going on.
Right, and it's spread
Right.
out, right? Yeah.
Well, and a lot of his executive orders, Joe Biden's, have hurt the American people. You know, there's a news clip of him from 3 days ago, right, where he's talking like 900,000 more Americans have applied for unemployment, and he's like, and we're
How
aware
much?
900,
Almost a million.
almost a million, 900,000 more. That's more. 900,000 more Americans
Dude, that's
have
insane.
filed for unemployment. And this is after he shut down the pipeline, after he's allowed 11 million.
Has that been done though? They
That's
talked
already
about it.
started. Yeah, that's already started.
That's insane. It's absolutely insane.
right? Because of his executive orders.
It's insane.
And him talking about how he knows that there's a problem while writing these executive orders that creates the problem is absolute fucking garbage.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm going to cuss about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
No, it's pretty infuriating. I mean,
it makes me mad.
Well, and there's so much that he talked about in his presidential campaign that it's like he's just totally done the opposite. He doesn't care. Right? Like he
look, okay, so he literally, and I'm going to say this as a white man looking on the outside into that community, right? He said things to win the black community, knowing full well that he did not give one shit about the actual black community.
Oh, no, I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. But that's, I mean, I would argue that's the majority. I wouldn't say all of them, but the majority of politicians that have been in their careers, like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, those people that are like at the head of the Democratic Party that have been in there for 50 plus years, they're all full of it. I do feel like there's a younger generation coming up that does care a little bit more about it, and they do want to. Like, I think that this more act, like, I'm gonna make some people mad, some white people mad. I do feel like there were systemic issues with how we were policing communities of color, in particular with marijuana. Yeah. So with marijuana, they were going after these people, and what they didn't realize was this is just a guy who's walking down the street, and there's a cop who looks at him and is like, "Oh, he's got saggy britches on. I'm gonna pull him over, or I'm gonna come over and talk to him for a minute, and then I'm gonna search his person because I'm gonna come up with some cause." And then this kid's going to have a joint on him. And it's going to be a kid, right? It's going to be a kid that's like 18 years old, just at the legal limit, right? And then they're going to say, well, we're going to take you to jail. And then they go to jail, and then they end up in prison because they get some ridiculous drug charge. And then now a kid who was just had some weed on him and wanted to chill out later is now going to be a career criminal. Because when he gets in prison, he's going to have to join something and work with people in order to stay safe, right? And so then while he's in that environment, he's going to actually grow. So he actually groomed criminals out of the black community. And then it was really easy later when they would finally get out to be like, well, look at all these black criminals. Well, you created those black criminals, you dumb-dumbs.
I mean,
so it's like,
what happens when you stick somebody in prison, right? Into a place where they're now made to fight for their life.
Right.
Made to become hard. Like,
you got to become hard too.
You got to become hard. Like, if you're not hard, you die.
Right.
Or you're somebody's bitch.
Right. You get shanked, something happens.
You get shanked, or you get fucked in the butt. That's
right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah.
You get your lunch stolen every day, and you starve to death slowly.
Right.
You know, some crap like that. You take that mentality, like that animalistic, I'm locked in a cage, I have to fight for everything that I've got mentality. You're not correcting a behavior.
Correct.
You're creating a new behavior that when it gets released back into society doesn't understand how society works anymore.
Right.
Because now
in a whole new world.
Now that person has become asocial.
Right.
You know, they only rely on themselves and how vicious they can be to survive. And if you take, let's say, a whole group of people, like for marijuana usage, the black community, and you stick them all in that same cage with, and I'm going to say it, guys like Ted Bundy. You stick them all in that cage with guys like the Iceman, Richard Kirklinski.
Right.
Who Richard Kirklinski murdered like 270 people.
Right. And it's just a guy who's got a drug charge.
And it's just a dude with a marijuana charge. Right. They're in the same cell. That dude with the marijuana charges, like, he's on edge immediately.
Right. Yep. It's a form of weird torture. I do think that we need to look at that. But what I'm getting at it though is that they are, once again, this comes from executive orders, and they're making choices that are affecting people. Right. So the Moores Act is good. I think that's a good change. But
Josh brings up a good one.
Okay.
Joe Biden actually said, "Poor kids are just as smart as white kids."
Yes, that is a quote, and very
what?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Caleb. And it's not just. And by the way, same thing happens to white kids.
Yeah,
if a white kid gets a drug charge and then he goes to jail, he turns into a Nazi typically because they got to join the white group.
They got to join
right?
the Aryan Brotherhood, or they got to join the Nazi regime.
Right. You got to, those are that's it. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you created racist. Like
Right.
you're not, it's
Right.
It's so crazy. It's the stuff that we talk about all the time is that like, we always try to, I think that sometimes laws are written or actions by the United States are completed with the intention of good. But it's all of those things that happen down the line that make it terrible, right? So the thing that confuses me about specifically drug policy is that if you have a drug policy and you say, you know, our goal is to protect people from themselves, but your answer is to then put them in prison, you're actually endangering that person, right? So like you need to think about other ways of protecting that person from themselves. Now, if it's a drug dealing charge where you've assessed that the person's it, but here's the thing. What if you pull a kid over and he's got 6 ounces of weed on him, but it's like he bought his supply for the month or 2 months or whatever it is because the kid wants to buy in advance.
Right.
Now you're going to say, well, he had an intent to sell. And it's like, so now you're putting him into a drug dealing thing, right? So if the kid's like, I wasn't going to deal. I was just, this is my weed, man. Like, this is just for me.
Right.
It doesn't matter. We've labeled this as intent to sell. There's just so many repercussions. And back to the executive orders. Like, I understand the pipeline. I understand their reasoning. Like, their intent behind the pipeline is environmental impact. I understand the environmental impact side. But there's another side to it, which is the economic impact. There's positives. There's jobs. There's all these things that come from
There's freedom from Arabic oil.
From outside influences, right? Being self-dependent, right? Yes, I agree. That's what I'm talking about.
Like, I'm sorry, but if we could keep the pipeline open, we don't have to get ISIS oil.
Right. Oh, remember ISIS?
Guess what?
They're back.
Do you guys remember ISIS? Guess who's back? Back again. They're like Slim Shady. They just never go away.
Yeah. Well, they
just wait for the right president to show up.
Rebrand. It's really funny. I like to crack a joke. Like, terrorists kind of rebrand.
They really do.
They do. They rebrand. Like, it's like, well, we weren't really.
You know, the only group of terrorists that haven't rebranded? The Taliban.
Yeah, the Taliban's just still a Taliban. But now like, they're not. They're like minor, right? Like the Taliban's like not by minor. I mean, like their extremism is like in comparison is like they get harder and harder as they go more and more rebrand. They don't soften the cause; they harden the cause. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they go like, "Well, maybe we shouldn't be so tough." They're like, "Nah, we need to be worse.
We need to be way worse.
We need to behead 7 white dudes a week,
right?
Or whatever it is that they do." You know, so not
firefights every day for a year.
Yeah, that's what they do. Like they campaign, right?
We did so this month we did 3 rockets last year, 12 rockets this year.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah, and then they're like, and we're ISIS, and then they call themselves something new.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Right.
They were Al Qaeda first.
Right. It was Al Qaeda.
And then they
Taliban.
were
Well, Al Qaeda and Taliban are separate, right?
They're separate, yeah. So one's Afghanistan, one's Iraq.
Right.
So they were Al Qaeda first, and then they were it has like Liberty in their name or something, like Iraqi.
And then they're like, well, we can't have the word Liberty in our name.
Iraqi Liberty Federation or something.
Oh.
Bizarro, dude. And then they were like, we're ISIS. Like, oh, okay. And then they were like, we're not ISIS. We're going to be Hezbollah. And then we're going to be ISIS again.
Right, yeah, they just can't.
We've ran out of names.
Right, yeah, we're out of names. Right. Yeah, it's so crazy. 1 second, chat. I thought that the space heater was going to be enough for me and Mac, but I think it's not.
It's cold.
So I'm going to turn on the heater for the room. So go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. What's our next one? Let's talk about the girl. Pull up the article about the...
I have it up right here. Yeah, it's so good that I have this article where I can talk about a little girl getting maced.
This is insane. And by the way, I'm telling you, man, like I want to know, like I wish I could talk to some of my buddies. I wish we could go to like I could talk to some of my buddies on the police force here,
right?
And say, are they talking about this at all? Like from the top down, like, hey, maybe do your job better. Don't step on people's necks, you know.
Like don't kneel on somebody's head.
Yeah, don't do stupid things. Don't mace a 9-year-old girl,
bro.
You know
and she's a tiny little girl.
Yeah,
she's not Like
Go
I've
ahead.
got
Let me see
the
this
whole
picture here. We gotta see this. So go ahead and read the story. Tell us where it's from.
Okay, so this was in Rochester, New York.
What's the article that you're reading? Where's it from?
So this is actually from the New York Post.
Okay. New York Post.
So it says newly released body cam video shows Rochester cops spraying a 9-year-old girl in upstate New York City. First of all, upstate and New York City, two totally different things.
Oh yeah, it's like Indiana versus New York City. That's basically how I kind of frame it out.
Right.
It's like the whole state of Indiana versus like the city of New York City.
So the footage from the video, shot during a family dispute on Friday, shows the distraught youngster running from police, then dropping to the snow-covered ground as a cop tries to bring her back home.
Okay.
I want my dad, the girl screams in a second video that was filmed on an iPhone or some mobile device. I ain't going nowhere. I want my dad. I'm not getting in no car until I see my dad, was an actual quote from the girl in the video.
Okay. And she's 9.
She's 9, right? She just wants her dad.
I mean, if a cop is putting you in a car, you don't know. As a
Right.
9-year-old, especially, you don't know. Delicate situation.
So then the officer commands her to stop, and the girl says, "Can you just please get this snow off of me? I just really want my dad. Please, for the last time, I am demanding to see my dad."
Okay.
One of the cops says, "Stop or you're going to get yourself hurt." One of the female officers is heard on the body cam telling the girl she'll find her father, but asks her to get in the car just to stay warm, only to have the girl start screaming at her again that she wants her dad. And she's still trying to get the snow off of her the whole time. She's got snow on her face, in her hair. She's like, "Can you just please help me get the snow off of my hair?" And then one of the police officers literally says, "Just spray her at this point." Like, what?
Okay.
So this all happened because the police were called because the little girl was at her mom's house and indicated that she didn't want to be there. And because her mom wouldn't let her go back to her dad's house, she threatened to kill herself.
Okay. Now,
What?
continue. And I'm going to talk about that part here in a minute.
All in total, 9 police cars responded to that call. 9.
Okay.
And there's a little girl
Okay.
who is trying to get to her dad and asking for her dad and gets freaking maced by police.
Okay. So I'm going to try and put myself, first of all, do we know what the girl looks like?
Yeah.
When he first told me about this chat, I automatically assumed that because she was maced, she was black. I want to make that clear.
She is black.
She is black?
She is black.
The fact that my mind could tell that, because you know this wouldn't happen to some little white girl. Like, I'm
No.
sorry, you know this wouldn't happen to some little white girl. There's no way you see 9 cop cars show up to a call and mace a child and it be a little white kid. You all know that's true. And you can gut check it and you can be like, nah, man, there's not systemic bull. I knew the moment that he told me that she was black. And I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, I was like, was she black? That was actually because we were talking on the phone right before we started today. And I said, was she black? Because the moment he told me that, so you tell me that there isn't a problem if I can guess that.
Right.
Based on how he explains the story to me. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more because we don't know the full details from the mother's side. We don't know the full details. So I'm going to have to I'm going to do some conjecture here. So imagine you have a 9-year-old and you're in a divorce situation.
Right.
And that kid's probably already kind of screwed up from the fact that you're in a divorce situation or a split home situation.
Right.
And I'm listening to it right now. He's playing it over on his iPad. And basically what I'm getting at is she doesn't sound hostile. She doesn't sound that crazy.
She's in handcuffs already.
Oh, by the way, yeah, she's handcuffed.
Look. They're trying to...
Okay, now I do want to say The woman officer seems to be doing the right thing based on
yeah.
the situation. There's only a few officers. Yeah. Let me see this really quick.
Yeah. So like obviously the little
Oh my
girl
God,
is,
he's shaking up the sprayer.
yeah. So like obviously the little girl is frantic. Obviously she's distraught. They've already been called for a mental health and wellness check.
Oh my God. Did you see the end of the video? Did you see the end of it?
I haven't seen the end of
Watch
the
the
video
end of the video. There's like 16 cops outside of the car.
Yeah, there's 9 cars, 2 cops apiece.
What is happening, dude? I don't. So this goes into that topic. Okay, so let me go back to what I was gonna say. So as a parent, I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of being around. Like I remember how I was with 9. I would say some really extreme, stupid stuff to get my mom riled up,
And
right?
to get attention.
Right, and to get attention. Obviously, this girl's having some issues, right?
Right.
And she's not happy when she wants to be with her dad. She obviously likes her dad more than her mom in this situation.
Right.
Might be a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But well, that's a whole different side of it. Our society always puts it on the mom that the mom's the better parent,
Right.
Because she's a woman, which is a utter crock anyway. The dad, I don't know the situation, so I can't talk to this specifically. But I know a lot of situations where the mom is a piece of garbage and the dad's actually trying his hardest,
Right.
And she's causing all sorts of issues, right?
Yeah.
So like, anyway, so going through that. So your kid says that they want to kill themselves. First of all, my first thing isn't to call the cops.
Right.
I know that sounds weird, but like,
No,
I wouldn't call
I
the
mean,
cops on my kid for saying they want to kill themselves. I would take my kid and I would take them to a psych ward or something, somewhere where they can help the kid work
Right.
through the situation instead of
Right.
trying to get the police involved. But that's what happened, right? That's what the mom did. She called,
Right.
right? She said the kid's going to kill herself. So the police are
Well,
obviously
she probably honestly called 911.
the mom did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's
Yeah.
like, my kid says she's going to kill herself because I
Well,
want her to see her
because they
dad.
think that the misconception is that if you call 911 because somebody decided to kill themselves,
Right.
that they're going to send like a doctor.
Right. The correct help is on its way.
Right.
Not-
and it's not. It's
No.
99%
They're going to
not
send a
the
popo.
case.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a huge issue, which also goes to the, like, when people were saying, like, defund the police.
Right.
They were talking about how the police are like everything. We're sending all these cops in for everything.
Right.
And we shouldn't be sending cops in for everything. We should be
Right.
sending other stuff in. The defund
I mean,
the police line was a
send
dumb
in
line.
an officer
Right.
for backup.
Correct. One.
That way there's not like a dude with a knife killing a freaking social worker.
Right. Correct. Yes. But you don't
Right.
have.
But you don't have
Literally 9
12
cars.
cops on one 9-year-old girl.
Dude, this is insane. Like, watching that video is infuriating. And the thing is like, this isn't, I don't want to say it's a normal occurrence, because there's one thing that I do think is a bad thing to say. Do you know how many cop interactions there are in a day in the United States?
lot.
A lot. And not all of them go this way.
No.
The majority, like 99% of them, don't
Don't
go
go
this
this way.
But there's that 1% and it gets us riled up.
So
Right? So I get it. It's rare.
So during my suicide attempt, right,
Okay.
I had 911 called on me,
Mhm.
and an officer from INPD came out.
Yep.
And his name is Officer Johnson, and I'm mostly here today because of him,
Okay.
right? Because he's also a veteran. So he's a veteran who became
Okay.
a police officer.
That's cool.
It's like the next step, right?
Right.
Like,
Yep.
oh, I served in the military, should become a police officer.
Yeah, this is easy. It's like
Right.
an easy day.
I
for
just already
military.
did this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he one officer wanted to put me in handcuffs because I was a danger to myself.
Sure. I don't
Um,
think there's a necessary problem with that. Handcuffing in and of itself isn't bad. But you could do front handcuffs.
you could do front
Right,
handcuffs,
yeah, like, it's a lot more
Like, don't
comfortable.
put my hands behind my
right,
back.
yes, like you're a
fucking crank me down, right?
Yep.
So, but Officer Johnson decided to not handcuff me.
Okay.
He said, I think we can control this situation without it. Right? So there's 2 cops there.
Mhm.
I'm in the middle of both of them. If anything happens,
How old were you when this happened, by the way?
27.
Right, and probably still a little bit more ripped from military service.
Bro, I was fucking jacked.
Right, yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I had just got
Right.
out of the military and I was a sheet metal fabricator.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. So I'm trying to create context here.
Yeah, yeah.
2
I'm a
officers
big-
for a buff white dude
yeah.
versus 12 to 16 officers for a 9-year-old
Well,
scrawny black
okay,
girl.
so there was like 8 officers that showed up initially. But
Okay.
then Officer Johnson,
because they also don't know if there's a gun involved. I think that's an important thing to bring in here is that you don't know.
Officer Johnson
situation.
de-escalated the situation, right?
Okay.
And I'm just going to throw this out here. Officer Johnson is a black guy. So just throwing that out there. Like, this is how he handled that situation.
Right. Okay.
And he talked to me for probably 45 minutes.
Okay.
Like, just sat and talked to me as a human. Like, not as a cop to somebody who was wanting to commit suicide. Not as a veteran to a veteran. Like, he talked to me as like a father to a father. And as a human to a human.
Okay. Good, by the way. I mean, that's how it should be done.
Yeah, yeah. And like got me to the point where without handcuffs, without any of that stuff, I went with him to a mental health facility.
Okay.
And admitted myself voluntarily for like about a week.
Right.
Right. And
I think you told me a little bit about this. So this is a lot for chat, right? So
so this is a lot to take in, right? But that's how that situation was handled with me being a big ass white dude who had a knife. I had a knife in my hand when they showed up. Like, I was ready to fucking rock and roll. And in my brain, when they first showed up, I was either going to kill myself or I was going out suicide by cop.
Right. Suicide by cop. Right. Which is common.
Yeah. Which is common. It's very common. But.
Right. You're here.
Here we are.
Right. And you weren't thrown into a car.
I wasn't thrown into a car.
You're obviously mentally unstable to the point that you want to end your life. But you weren't unstable as a 9-year-old because 9-year-old emotions are very different. 9-year-old, oh God, I'm going to make all these postmodern sex people crazy. Men and women develop emotions very differently.
Very differently.
And a 9-year-old girl versus a 9-year-old boy are going to be two different things.
Yeah.
So on top of that, you got the fact it's a 9-year-old girl who's going through some stuff with her family, obviously. And now you got cops and they're treating this situation like it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I don't want to sit there and like say that this is all police because even in this situation in the video, if you guys go and watch it, you can see that like some of the officers are very hands off. They're very like, hey, you know, like calm and stuff like that. But the guy who's on the body cam footage is like, oh, just spray her at this
the
point.
Female officer,
shaking up his,
the female officer that's got her, like she's already sitting on the edge of the car, right? And she's trying to tell her like, hey, I will get your dad. I just need you to chill out.
Right.
Like that's essentially what she said.
Right.
I just need you to sit here and be calm.
Yep. And she was trying.
I feel like if that little girl hadn't been in handcuffs, right, she probably would have been 99% calmer.
Oh, right. Yeah, because they're supposed to de-escalate the situation, but all they're doing is escalating and then spraying someone with pepper spray.
Right.
It doesn't. What was his logic? Like it'll keep her warm? Like is he that dumb? You know what I mean?
It'll stop her from fighting back.
Right. Oh, right.
It is
a kid that's in handcuffs.
It's a subduction tactic.
Right. They might think that, but this girl's already acting, you know.
And it will subdue you.
Did you see the video though? When she gets sprayed, she starts going even more nuts. She's like, get it out of my eyes.
Yeah.
It's not the best. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, the worst.
It's the worst.
It's the absolute worst.
And it's a 9-year-old. We keep talking about this, and it's like you could talk about this like it's like some larger 17-year-old teenage girl. It's not.
Right.
It's a 9-year-old.
Right.
What do you think? My 3-year-old, okay? When she doesn't get her way, it's driving me
Throws a
nuts
temper
right now.
tantrum.
She's doing the actual tantrum where she lays on the floor and kicks her feet.
Oh my God.
Makes me want to scream when I see that, right? But that's irate. That's what kids do. Kids do those things.
They go from 0 to 100.
To 100, right? And it's like
Real
they don't know
fast.
what to do because their body needs to move from energy. And you're going to sit there and do that to a 9-year-old girl and think that that's somehow like going to de-escalate. I thought that was their whole training was to always take it down a notch. And it just blows my mind. And the thing is you can't even tie this conversation up with a bow and be like, well, we've covered it because it's too complicated.
Nubonic on the Twitch chat, he was a police officer, right? He said you're not supposed to use that type of force on someone A that is young, that's that young, and B already handcuffed?
Right.
You already have control.
Right. Yeah, because
what are you trying to do?
Right, because I've talked to officers about this before, where they've said, like, for instance, if a man is rushing you with a knife, and he's 6'8" and weighs 260 pounds, and he's all muscle, and he's charging you, and you're a female officer that weighs 150 soaking wet,
right?
You use a pistol because it's like an equivalent of
well,
force.
I mean,
right?
that would be everybody.
Right. Yes.
Right.
But
every human, if you have a pistol, shoot him.
Yeah, you shoot him. Right. So there's like points of force, and you have to analyze the situation and assess what level of force can I use to oppose this force. A 9-year-old girl is like the bottom of the bucket.
Right.
It's like the lowest level of force that you have to counter.
Right.
So what in God's name?
So I remember as a 9-year-old boy, right?
Yeah.
My uncles playing the game with me where they put their hand on my head and you like fight me.
Yeah, fight me.
And you're just
yeah,
dumb. Like you don't know, just push the hand off, hit him in the nuts.
Right. Yeah.
Like now as an adult, I see that. Like I could have done this.
You're right. Yeah.
As a 9-year-old,
right.
Nah.
No.
I'm like,
you sit there and you swing and your little arms.
You look stupid.
You do.
That's what happens.
Right. So like, what in the world? There's nothing, in my opinion, and this guy's not going to get fired. You know it. He's not going to get fired.
So Rochester police have suspended him without pay.
For how long?
Until the end of the investigation.
Right. But we all know if it goes like it always goes, no offense, I've got officer buddies. I have tons of cop buddies.
He won't get fired.
He won't. And he won't and he won't quit. They'll be like, well, it was a tough day. The night before he had a pretty rough call. He wasn't in the right headspace, so we're giving him 2 weeks without pay to let him cool off a little bit and blah blah blah. Brotherhood. I'm sorry. That's not my world.
Nub,
you know
Nub said, we have a 9-year-old in handcuffs. Like, how is that not a controlled situation?
Right. No, I agree. I agree. That's what I'm saying though.
He won't get fired.
No way.
There's not.
No way. Because they get through, and this is where
he'll get transferred.
Yeah, they might put him on like narcotics.
No. He'll get transferred. Same job, different department. So like he'll get just a different precinct.
Right, they'll put him somewhere else. Right, yeah.
Like
but
you don't need to be around this community for a while.
And that's my problem. And that's my problem overall with the police, right?
Yeah.
Because I've got buddies that are cops. And it's the same thing in the military, I think, to a degree, where they're like, well, you got to be, you got to have each other's backs. I think we talked about this a little different, though.
To a degree.
Because, like, cops won't turn on their cops because they want to make sure that when they're in that deadly situation, the cops got their back.
Right.
And I'm like, nah. But that's also why I'm not a cop. Because I wouldn't play by those rules, right? And there's a reason why I don't do those things.
And, Nub, I really hope he does go to jail. Like, Nub said, if enough people push on this like they did others.
So what would you put it under, as assault? Like, would you give assault a charge on the officer? I could see that. I mean, I would be for that. Same thing with the individual where they were on his neck.
With
I think
the George Floyd situation?
Involuntary manslaughter or something along those lines, right? Like, because they weren't voluntarily trying to kill him. They're trying to subdue him. But it was an involuntary manslaughter, and they should have gotten on the hook for that. And
I think that goes back to the you need to be punched in the face.
Okay, so in this situation, when that officer sprayed that girl in the face, if one of the other cops could just come over and be like,
just like boom, why
would you?
Why are you being so stupid?
Why are you being so stupid? And then they go be like, oh, wait a minute, maybe you're right. But it just blows my mind.
They would charge him with felony battery.
So battery. Okay.
Yeah. Because battery is the act. Assault is the intent.
So assault and battery.
I mean.
Because he intended to do it. Because he literally says,
just spray already.
And then he pulls out his little spray thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, man. Like I don't.
Thank you, Nub, for the clarification.
I don't. And like I said, there's no way to even segue out of this one. It's just like dumb. It's dumb.
Stupid. But I mean, that goes back to what we talked about like the punching in the face. If another and the brotherhood thing, right? If another cop saw a cop do a bad thing and just walked up, punched him in the face.
Yep.
Like you're not turning on your brother. You just punched him in the face.
Mm-hmm. I believe
he knows now. That's stupid.
Right. I believe, if I remember correctly, the Navy SEALs, they actually train each other. I'm sorry, they don't. They train on how to look and assess their I guess comrades is the best word coming to my brain right now. So like they're teammates whenever they're in a situation, they are also trained to assess their psyche so that they can tell if that person's getting to a bad place.
Yeah.
And then they can intercede on that person.
So Rangers, SEALs, and snipers all do that.
Right. So you need to learn those things. So in that situation, those cops, because the thing that's the most sad about that video is that there's only one guy doing the wrong thing. But now, because no one else is stepping up, they're all doing the wrong thing.
Right.
And that to me is the part that's frustrating.
Because it doesn't take people doing bad things for evil to succeed, right? It just takes good people not doing anything.
Apathy creates really bad situations. And so like in this situation, like those cops should have been like the moment he started to spray, the video should have showed him being pulled back by 2 cops. Right. Being like, nah, dude, you need to chill.
I will say at the end of that video, right, if you look at it, that female officer that was right there, she tries to grab the little girl and pull her away.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the woman in this situation gets it.
That chick got suspended too.
Now, that makes sense. I understand because that's how their logic's going to run. Right. They're going to run it because the other officers that are all standing there, she was the one immediately on the ground. I don't think that she'll get in any situation.
Right.
Unless she did the spraying and we're misseeing what the video was. But
no, it was definitely that dude spraying.
You see
because he's like,
you see him shaking it up.
He's prepping that Fox 599 like ready to rock it.
I can't. It bothers me. I have daughters.
Yeah.
If my daughters were ever in that situation, but once again, I do feel like there's a little bit of a privilege check here. I hate that word because it's bothering me. But if I called the cops on my kid, I guarantee you'd be like 2 cops. They come out real lazy.
You kind of don't.
Sweetheart, we need you to calm down. Your dad called. He's worried about you. Instead of
like, what's going on?
Now, once again, we haven't seen the before, but either way, it's a 9-year-old girl. Let's stop skipping over this. It's insane. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry it happened to her. I hope the situation gets cleared up, and I hope that the guy who says just spray her already.
And for the little girl, I hope she's not like damaged, like because pepper spray can like wreck your eyes.
Hey, you want to know how? Remember how we talk about how we grow terrorists by bombing things, and then little kids see stuff.
That's how we grow criminals.
That's how we grow criminals. It's how we grow people that participate.
That's how you grow racists
that burn down. Yeah, you burn down communities because they feel like their race is being targeted.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Nub said you shouldn't be calling your cops on your kids anyway. Like, no kidding.
Yeah, you're a grown ass adult.
Like calling the cops is what kids threaten to do to parents who beat their asses.
Beat them, right? I'm gonna call the cops, and then you go, fine, do it.
Like, go ahead. I just hit you twice with a fly swatter.
Yeah.
Like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I hit you on your butt.
Put CPS in, and then you're gonna go live with somebody else who doesn't love you.
I sat you down, explained to you what you did wrong, hit you twice with my hand. Call the cops. I don't even give a shit.
Right, yeah. Go for it. See what happens. My mom's threat.
When they laugh at you, you're going to get another ass whooping.
No, my mom's thing was, go ahead. And then she was like, and then they're going to take you to some family that doesn't care about you, and they just want you for money for tax purposes.
Right.
And then she's like, and they're going to make you eat crackers, and you're going to live in a closet. And I'm like, oh.
Your mom threatened you with Harry Potter.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I would have been the real one, dude. I just need the scar. I had the circle glasses and everything back then. But anyway, so that's kind of part of it, but that I can't talk about it anymore. It actually is getting my blood boiling because it's just so stupid.
I mean, I was never one to like call the cops on my parents. I would say that 99% of the chat that we have wouldn't do it either.
But because you were a 9-year-old, you would say extreme things to get extreme reactions from your parents.
No, I would just do dumb shit. That's the boy mentality, right? It's like girls and boys grow up different, right?
Right.
So like girls say things to manipulate their parents.
Right.
And that's true. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
My daughters.
Little girls say shit to manipulate their parents.
It's bad.
Okay?
It's bad.
Just period.
It happens.
Boys do dumb shit to themselves.
Right.
To manipulate their parents.
Like if the parents are getting on you, you'd be like, nah. Anyway. So yeah. All right. Now I want to talk about. Let's just hang and talk with chat for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I need to get that out of my system because oh my god. Oh, on that, we'll talk more just about the police, period, not about this situation. The police need to be showing that they're having trainings about this everywhere.
Yeah.
They need to be saying, hey, this is what we're doing so that we don't have these kind of things happen with our officers.
Right.
And they need to be working on that, and it needs to be public, because otherwise the public's view is going to continue skewing against the police. And we've talked about this as well. The issue with the police right now was originally coming from a perspective of the left, right? So like earlier in 2020 with Black Lives Matters and Antifa, there was like this leftist anti-police rhetoric happening, right?
Right.
But now towards the end of 2020, where they were like macing Trump supporters who were trying to get into a public hearing that the police were blocking,
Right.
now they're making conservatives not like cops. So if you get to the point, you just pissed everybody off.
Right.
It's not really a career I'd be seeking right now. And they're actually having problems with recruitment. The police departments around the United States are having problems with recruitment. And it's like, well, I wonder why.
Jackie said, actually, it doesn't matter.
What doesn't?
I don't know. I'm lost.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter.
Hey. What's up, Kay?
But yeah, so hold on a second. Is Kayla talking? Because my chat's not updating. Okay. Grabbed him back. Woman's going right way to handle it. My son. Call them. Give me a vacation. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah. Tell your kids to call the cops. Give me a vacation.
Right.
Go
right.
away for a while. Yeah. That's
okay.
fantastic.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
No, I get that feeling for sure. It's kind of like,
I get to play video games without you being here to annoy me. Okay.
Oh yeah. I love it. So just to kind of frame out, guys and girls, to get you guys ready for this, we're going to talk about this Wall Street Bets situation. And while you guys are coming up with topics, I'm going to kind of frame out.
Oh, she was saying that, like posting stuff and like showing that they're training and stuff really doesn't matter, because the RCPD is one of the most socially active police departments she's ever seen, and people still attack them for being hateful when they really aren't.
Right, but are they taking 9-year-old girls and putting them in handcuffs?
I don't think so.
That's my point.
Are they training for that?
It feels like it. I feel like it feels like this is how he was trained.
Right.
You know, he's like, well, just mace her at this point.
Right.
What? We've hit a point? We've hit
like,
the point of mace? What's happening right now? Like, I don't get it. Like, it's just
at this point, let's just end the world.
At this point, just nuke everybody.
Right.
Yeah. No. So anyway,
at this point, the podcast is over.
Yeah, it's over. So let me talk about. So for you who don't know, there's been some Wall Street stuff going on, and like I said, this is like I'm framing it out, and we'll talk about more about the issues. But a group of individuals on Reddit called Wall Street Bets. It's a subreddit called Wall Street Bets.
Excuse me.
They decided to go after. They found out that there was this huge short happening on the stock for GameStop. GameStonks. And it started out pretty calm, and then they started investing, and it went from I think the high of it was at the early 2020 was like $6 or $8.
Yeah.
And then it got up to a peak of $470. And now it's down in the 200s. So there's a lot going on over the time.
I thought yesterday it closed at 312.
But this morning, after market trading, when I looked this morning, it was at 220.
Okay.
So there's problems. So this is called, and that's the thing is, so if you follow the subreddit, so I started going into the subreddit to try and read just so I could keep up with what's going on. Okay. Long story short, these investors go in, and in order to stop these hedge funds from making money, the best way to do that is to keep increasing the value of the stock, because they lose money. Hedge funds lose money the higher the value is going, because they're betting against the stock crashing. Or I'm sorry, betting with the stock crashing. So they're and I'm saying bet because in my opinion, a lot of this is gambling.
Right.
So they're hoping that the business goes down, because if the business goes down, they walk away with billions. Okay.
Right.
Well, what this group did was like, well, we're gonna make this not happen. And so they've been pushing this price up, which is forcing these hedge funds into losses. As of last Friday, it was 70 billion in losses.
So I don't understand
huge.
any of this.
Right. It's I only understand like the very top layer too, because it gets really deep when you start talking about stocks.
Yeah.
But this
like, okay, so I was at the bar on Sunday because I'm a bartender, right? And I'm talking to a guy who waited, and he had bought like GME back in like 2001, right?
Okay.
Like when it was real, it was still kind of fluctuating and whatnot, around $4, $2.50, something like that. But yeah, like 1,600 shares.
Right, and he's a millionaire now.
Yeah, you might 599,000 something.
Yeah,
odd. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, it depends on what his gain is, right?
Because of the time that he sold.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And so I was just talking to him. I'm like, I don't even know where to buy a stock.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Like, I can't go into Walmart.
No.
And like,
right.
Pick like,
So,
look, GME on the shelf. Let's take this to the checkout register, and now I have this many shares. I don't know.
Even more complicated.
I don't know
than
dick about it.
It's not even as easy as like in what was that movie with Adam Sandler, where they all have shares in the company?
Deeds?
Mr. Deeds. It's not even like Mr. Deeds where people are walking around with certificates. Okay, it's so much more. Also, that film took place almost
in the 90s.
20 years ago. So anyway, people did have actually
almost 30 years ago.
Right. Okay, so I don't want to go into like a whole like education lesson on this, but let's just say that basically a group of people had come together and been like, let's force this stock up and force these hedge funds to lose billions. And then the government kind of steps in. They're like, no. But the bigger problem is what happened, and I think we touched on this a little bit last Tuesday, is the seller. So like you can get stock, there's brokerages. They're called brokerages. One is Robinhood that everybody knows about on the phone. There's Robinhood. Then you have like E-Trade, Scott Trade, Fidelity. There's all these different companies that you can buy and sell orders with. Okay. You can also place buy and order sales at a target value. So you can say, when the stock hits this price, I want to sell my shares. And someone will have a buy order out there for it, and then they'll buy it. Right. So that's how it works. There's all these brokerages, and they're working. That's why when you used to see the videos of Wall Street, there's all these guys screaming, I got a buy order, 10,000, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like, I got it. And then they sit there and go back and forth, right? There's all these sales and everything going on.
Why can't I just buy it myself?
You can't.
But why can't I?
Well, actually, I don't know. You actually probably could if you went there. But the problem is that companies only have certain amounts of shares. So this is where it gets really complicated in talking about what the shorts are and what everything is happening. So like you and I start a company.
Okay.
And we say there's 100 shares.
Okay.
We're going to have 100 shares of our company.
You heard that, chat. We have 100 shares of our company.
And each share is $1,000.
Okay.
So we all buy. So 100 people come to us and they buy shares. So there's now $100,000 in shares in the company.
Okay.
Right. You can go a couple of different routes. You can continue to not increase your number of shares.
Okay.
Right. And then that person's that's got $1,000. It can go up in value because someone say, well, I want that share of the company. I want to pay you $1,300. And then you have the option to choose to buy or sell that portion of the company. By the way, you own 1/100th of the company, right? Because you own that, right? So what I'm getting at is, so you can go a couple of different routes. You can just not increase your share count, or you can increase your share count, which will diminish the value of shares.
Okay.
Because you've now spread out the amount of money across the number of shares.
Right.
Or you can hold and let the value go up and down based on the value of your company, right? So there's different ways you can do this. Most companies create additional shares. It's very rare for companies to have like limited share counts.
Right.
Like I said, this is getting very educative. But long story short, in this situation, what's happening is so many buy orders are happening, they can't create more shares. So the value of the stock goes up. Are you following? Are you tracking?
Sure.
Sure. Long story short, so this has been happening by just Joe Blow, bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of just dudes spending anywhere from $10 to $150. These hedge funds are betting that the stock value is going to go down. They're betting against that. So the way that they do that is they'll keep theirs, but they'll borrow against other stocks by buying other stocks.
Right.
Because they're trying to make some other billionaire more money, right? They're just trying to make more money with the money they already have.
Okay.
That's what these hedge funds are doing.
Okay.
And there's a war on them. Long story short, then all of a sudden the brokerages come into play and they say, we're going to limit your power to buy the stock. When they limit your ability to buy the stock, you can't place buy orders anymore. Not being able to place buy orders devalues the stock, which then protects hedge funds.
That's dumb.
Correct. In some people's view, not the hedge funds. And not the people being paid by the hedge funds.
Right.
People that are in their pocket of the hedge funds. And so all of a sudden the media comes out, and this is where it gets real crazy. So Robinhood comes in and does that. And then they send out this little email and they're like, oh, we're sorry. We're just dealing with market volatility. It's not volatility. It's people trying to play the same game hedge funds play, but as people,
Right.
not as hedge funds.
Right.
Hedge funds are like, we got to get something figured out because we're losing billions, right?
Well, I know they called in like the SEC or some
Right.
shit.
There's so much going on around this, but this is where it gets crazy and
Yeah.
shows that you aren't in the club. George Carlin, best comedian ever. There's a club and you ain't in it.
Right.
And that's the club. And they're working really hard to make sure that people don't get in that club. And so here's what's happening. Robinhood declares that you can't sell shares, right? And then
Right.
they were actually, there's evidence of them closing out people's positions, which is even crazier, which means that they sold for the person on their behalf. So imagine you buy a share of a stock that's worth $10 and it
Right.
goes up to $1,000, but because they chose to, they closed you out at 200. So you only made 190 instead of $990. They closed out people's positions for them. Extremely unethical. Extremely illegal, and it's still going on. So they're doing this. Well, then it makes a bunch of people mad because they're closing out people's ability to buy. They're closing out some people's positions.
Right.
So people start downvoting the app, the Robinhood
Right.
app, saying like, yeah, they screwed me out. Google removes all of the negative reviews. Like, this shows you how intertwined this, whatever this nebulous group is above us as humans,
Right.
this club, it goes. Because you have Google removing these negative ads so that the publicity can't get out there that there's some really nasty stuff going on
Right.
with Robinhood, with all the brokerages, with big tech, because Facebook is in on this, Google's in on it, Apple's in on it. Everybody, they're all making it so that you can't do this. We can't rally against this system. And so then what they did is then the media gets involved. And the media starts calling us Russian bots. Jimmy Kimmel calls us Russian bots. And by us, I'm saying the people who are trying to buy this stock and try and hold the line so that these hedge funds crash. Jimmy Kimmel, stand-up comedian, saying that it's Russian bots. Everyone I know buying the stock is not Russian. They're just millennial kids
Right.
for the memes,
Right.
right? And so you have that going on. And then the media is like, Russian bots have changed their focus to silver. And they said Wall Street Bets is saying this. But if you go into Wall Street Bets is like, no, don't go into silver. They're doing this so that you bloat their money so they can cash out. They're
Right.
trying to recoup their money. The hedge funds are in silver now, and they want you to bloat it so that they can drop
Right.
it out from under you, and then you lose all the money. So it's
Right.
literally, and now the media is involved. So you have media, big tech, brokerages, and hedge funds all working against basically us,
The everyday
common
man.
the
Yeah,
common
yeah.
man. And it's like, really? Like, this is what we're dealing with as a society right now? Now, don't get me wrong. It is unifying people. You have conservatives and liberals that are like,
Right.
this needs to happen, right? 'Cause,
Yeah.
the problem is sometimes I forget what we talked about on the podcast, what we talked about on the phone. I was driving down the road while we were talking about this, and I look out, and there's like these $1 million houses. But I know those people didn't do something weird. They weren't exploiting
Right.
stuff. They worked hard. They own their own business. They do
Right.
something like that.
A lot
That's
of the
not who
guys
I'm
that have
after.
like $1 million homes around here
Right.
just own a shitload of land and corn and soybeans, and
Right.
they've had tractors and employees
Right.
and
They do a lot.
and they pay them really well.
Right. They pay well for their employees. They create a good and service. They just do it in bulk.
Like,
They
I don't
bought-
know if any of y'all have ever worked on like a tobacco farm, but
No.
like, so
Good
in
work, though.
southern Indiana, there's
Right.
a lot of
down in
tobacco
Kentucky
down
and
there.
Southern Indiana, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of tobacco farming.
Yep.
So I've worked as a farmhand on a tobacco farm.
Yep.
It is hard work.
Yep.
And I was expecting, as a farmhand, to maybe make $10, $11 an hour.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
Like for manual labor.
For
which is
manual
still
labor.
not bad.
I made $17
yeah, I was
an
going to say
hour.
probably about $18 to $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
I was 15, 16
right.
years old.
Now you'd probably make 25.
Right.
Right. 25 an hour.
To swing a sickle. Boop.
Well, not now because
Yeah.
other stuff. But yes. Right. Swing a sickle.
But to swing a sickle, cut down a tobacco plant,
Yep.
hang it upside down on a stick, and then put them all on the truck, and then take the truck and drive it into a barn and take that shit up to the roof.
Right. And then let it hang. And you can
And let
see
it
it
hang.
down in Kentucky. You
It's
can actually
so-
see
it's
barns
gorgeous.
open with the tobacco like hanging
Yeah.
and drying. It's really cool. It's actually pretty neat, honestly. I'm not a big
But,
fan
like,
of tobacco anymore, but
I know the guy who I was working for, multimillionaire, like
sure. Oh yeah.
millions of dollars.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I didn't feel gypped by him because he was still
Right.
paying me $17 an hour
Right.
at 16 years old to fucking swing a sickle.
Right. Yeah. Right. And he's paying you good money. But the point is that the people that are in this situation, we're not talking about people that are even millionaires. We're talking about
Billionaires. Yeah.
We're talking about people that have so much money. And I said this to my dad, diehard Christian conservative. And he was like, if you have $1 billion, why do you need more money?
Right.
Like my dad, even as a person who's like a staunch conservative, is just like,
Yeah.
why? Why do you have to have so much money? And at the expense of, because remember, these people are betting against companies failing.
Right.
And GameStop has thousands upon thousands of employees in the United States.
Yeah.
They're betting against these
People's
people
jobs.
to not have jobs so that they can make another
$1 billion.
$100 billion this year.
That's crazy. Hello?
Dude, chat, our door just opened on its own.
What the heck?
I'll go close it.
That's weird. I don't like that. We're going to Wendy's?
Yeah, no.
Okay, bye chat.
No,
we
we're
are
gonna
going
go-
to Wendy's.
We're going to go to Taco Bell for lunch if he has time.
Yeah, I got time.
But anyway, so yeah, so that just the concept of this whole thing is crazy. So this is what happened to me. So this is where it gets personal.
Okay.
So yesterday,
Okay.
I'm like, cool, my dad told me about this account that has some money in it.
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
to join the cause because I want to see these billionaires lose a bunch of cash.
Right.
I go to make a purchase. And because I chose GME as the first stock purchase, it was like, you are a day trader. You cannot trade. So I was blocked by a brokerage to make a purchase I wanted to make with my own money. Based on the stock that I had picked, they blocked it before I could even start the purchasing. And that, even in and of itself, is just crazy.
So you can't buy any stocks.
Now, right, because I tried that stock first. My account's blocked. I can't make transactions.
So what happens to the money that's in that account?
Well, I can get the money back. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's just the idea is so bonkers to me, right? So then this is where it gets even crazier. So then I start searching for the error message I was receiving. And they're like, oh yeah, this usually happens when you've been labeled as a day trader. The only way you can get this is where it just makes you go, bleh. So there's ideas of called trending day traders. And it means that like you're literally watching the market for like micro transactions,
Micro fluctuations,
changes, right?
yeah.
And you're betting against it for. So like you're like, oh, it went down $1. I'm gonna buy a bunch, wait for it to go up $1, sell, and you'll do that within a day, right? So like within a day,
Right.
you'll buy and sell in certain periods. It's a good way to make money if you want to gamble, but it's gambling.
It's
right?
gambling, 100%.
So, but when they label you as that, they only allow you to continue doing it if you have $25,000 in your account. So, see, it's like everything is built in a way that keeps the poorer, not the poor, but well, including the poorer people down. So if you don't have 25 grand just sitting around that you can play with, you can't play the same game that somebody who does have 25 grand in their account playing. You see what I'm saying? The system is against most people.
So
I like this. I like this frustration on his face.
well, because I don't understand. Like I didn't know that a penny stock. Okay,
Yes, it was
so
wind.
I learned this on Sunday. I didn't know that a penny stock, right?
Yeah, so you have
is
penny
a
stocks.
stock-
There's also pink sheets.
I didn't know that a penny stock was any stock under $5.
Correct.
I thought a penny stock
What was like a penny?
is fucking penny.
Yeah, no.
It's what it says.
Yeah,
It's
so
a penny
there's-
stock.
So you have penny stocks, you have pink sheet stocks, which means like they're on their way out. But pink stink. Oh my. Oops. Freudian slip there.
What do you what?
Pink sheet stocks are stocks.
What did you say?
Pink stink. Pink stink. So pink sheet stocks. Pink.
It's like saying GameStop stomps.
Yeah, I can't even do it. It's just it's over-
GameStop stocks.
Oh right, yeah. And by the way, in Tesla, oh dude, it's so great. Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to get back on this.
GameStop stomps.
Stomps. So I can't remember. I lost it. Pink sheet stocks. Pink sheet stocks are stocks that are like extremely cheap. Like I own 2,000 shares of a pink sheet stock that is worth 0.00065 a share.
Why?
Because if it goes up to $1, I got $2,000. That's why.
I
It was up
mean-
my bought a long time ago as a
Yeah,
joke
yeah.
with my buddies. But anyway, so it's just but you can do that and you can play with them. So another one's
Yeah.
Dogcoin, which is a cryptocurrency. and there's
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
It's Dogecoin.
I call it Dogecoin. Dogecoin.
It's Dogecoin.
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 Dogecoin. Anyway,
Dogecoin.
so they're trying to pump that too. They're trying to distract people from the actual cause. What is GME up to right now? It's at noon here on Tuesday. Let's see what GME is at. So, dude, see, it's down to 129. So what they were talking about, so this morning on Wall Street Bets, they were talking about they're doing what's called a short ladder. So a short ladder strategy basically drives the value of a stock down, even with you not selling. So even with a bunch of people not selling their stock, they're going to push the stock down because they're going to artificially create amount of supply that's not actually there. So what they're trying to do is scare all these people into selling their stock. This is the level of manipulation.
So this is why I've been seeing like the hold the line thing.
Hold the line. Hold the line.
Hold the moon.
Hold your stock. Don't.
Yeah,
because they can't do it forever. Because if they keep doing it forever, they're the ones losing money.
Right.
Because they're the ones selling it back down.
Right.
Even though it's not really there. So this just shows the level of manipulation that these people at the top have. Like the power that is up there. Like we can't even do that. Like we can inflate it, but we can't do what they're talking about doing. It's too coordinated. What they're doing is collusion. It's like literally like two parties doing this back and forth. And so the whole problem with this whole situation is that it was great. It shows the fallacies in our system. I just don't know where it's going to go because I feel like this is happening everywhere. It's happening in politics. I don't want to sound.
They have to pay interest daily on their short.
Yes. And so the longer we hold the line, the more they lose. And so that's kind of the point. But now I can't even buy and join the line. That's what's very frustrating about this whole thing. And that it's because they all turned against us. And by us, I mean the people.
The people. Yeah.
And that's where we're getting. And it's even like Joe Biden and the executive orders. Like, so to put a bow on this whole conversation we've been having today, what we're seeing as a society is they don't care about us. They care about them.
Right.
And Joe Biden doesn't care about you. He's signing 40 executive orders that are putting 12,000 people out of jobs, bringing in 11 million illegal immigrants, and he's trying to make your life suck, not intentionally. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care about you.
Right.
And these big guys in these hedge funds and Wall Street,
they only care about their money.
They care about more and more money. And it's because they also know that they're inflating the dollar. The dollar bill is inflating with all these stimulus checks.
Yeah.
I read this morning we're at another round of $1,000 stimulus checks per person in a household. That's great. But guess what? The best analogy I heard is, let's say you make $7.50 an hour and you want to buy a pair of a record or an album, and it's $14 for an album. So you got to work 2 hours to buy that album.
Right.
Well, then all of a sudden you get a raise to $15 an hour, and then the album costs $30.
Right.
Because the price of everything goes up because the dollar inflates. You didn't get a raise.
Right.
You still have to work 2 hours to get the album. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
And so you've got this heavy inflation happening, and they see it coming. So they're trying to get as much money as they can because it's going to be worth less in the future. So they're trying. So meanwhile, we're all sitting here, and then now the media is getting involved and distracting us. Everybody's trying to distract us from stuff that it isn't leading towards us having a healthier life as the lower class.
Right.
And by the lower class, I'm literally dividing us from established elites.
I said it last night while I was on my personal stream. You know, if like these billionaires, right? If they could chunk off like $25,000 to $50,000, right? They would not even feel that.
Oh yeah, dude, no way.
Anywhere. Like they could donate $50,000 to 100,000 people
Mhm.
and not even feel it.
Yes.
Do you know what just 50K
Mhm.
would do for like someone like mine and yours life?
Oh, it'd be huge.
It would change it, right?
Right.
So like debts are paid off,
So,
like you're in a more comfortable spot. And then you have these guys that are just like,
but the moment that you and I have this conversation, even with our relatively conservative tendencies,
right,
we sound like socialists when we start having this conversation to people.
right.
Because we're saying,
And I'm not saying they
right,
should
yes,
do it.
Right. I'm just saying that
I'm
it
just saying
show.
if it happens, it shows that 50K or 100,000
Mhm.
or $1 million, $1 million
Mhm.
to a billionaire doesn't really matter.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy, dude. And when you look at this whole situation, so okay, so let's go to the next level. Let's go outside of the stock perspective and just talk about the actual dollar.
Yeah.
So there is all this money, billions, trillions of dollars up at the top of
Yeah.
all the very wealthy people, right?
Yeah.
And they're just holding on to it. And because they hold on to it, the existence of that cash
Right.
devalues our cash, right? Because there's so many dollars, right? So the value goes down. Okay. So because they don't inject it back into actual markets by investing in people, investing into actual companies they care about,
Right.
they're playing games where they're betting with the house. See what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. They're playing
the
with house money.
jackass that comes up to the craps table and bets with the house that no one at the table likes because they're betting with the system, right?
Yeah.
They're not betting
Right.
for the guys that want to make it. They're betting with the house.
They're
and that's what
playing
doing.
with house money.
Right, they're playing. Well, no, not even house money. They're bringing their own money, but they know the house wins, so they're betting with the house, the establishment.
Oh,
You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. They're betting
with
on the house.
establishment. They're betting
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that. So, like, if you're going on your first throw in craps, your first throw, if it's a 7, it's a win.
Right.
But after that, it's not a win. So, if after you've established the point, I don't know how much craps you play. I'm a big craps player. So, when you roll a 6, that's why in the movies they're like, oh, and then when they roll 7, it's like, oh. Well, because a 7 will throw out the crap. That's a craps roll, right?
Right.
Unless it's your first throw, then it's a win. So you throw out a craps roll, boom, fantastic, everybody wins, and they're betting that someone's established a number. They're betting against everybody else. So like all the people at the table are playing like I want a 6 to hit. No, they're betting for a 7 to hit. They're betting for everybody else to lose money, and they want to win. And that's what these people are doing with cash. But with them having all of this money existing and not spending it and not putting it back into the market, they're just playing with the house. So the money keeps going to the top and our money keeps going down in value because even though we might even have more cash, it's nothing in comparison to the billions of dollars at the top. This is why, and then people want to use the stock market as a barometer of the health of the nation. And it's not. It's the health of the hedge funds. It's the health
Right.
of these billionaires. That's all that they care about.
It's the health of the wealthiest,
Correct. Not
which doesn't reflect the nation at all.
If I remember correctly, like it's literally like 1%.
Yeah.
Like not even 1%. It's like
Yeah.
0.1%. Those are the people that are making all the cash.
I mean, I would say that even a company like Lucas Oil, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't even say that's in that 1%.
No. And by the way, I'm talking about
Like-
individuals. Like an individual.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is like the owner of Lucas Oil,
Right.
he's not even in that 1%.
Right.
And look at how big that shit is.
Right. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Like,
There's perspective. So there's wealth envy that exists. I mean, I'm envious of wealthy people.
Yeah.
I don't think they should all lose it.
no.
But I look at the situations where you have people who are literally playing with other people's jobs
right.
and other people's livelihoods in order to make more billions. That is corruption. Lucas Oil employs how many people? Thousands of people. They're looking out to make
I
sure
don't
that
know.
one, they operate. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
like that-
or any company.
Let's say thousands of people.
1,000 people, right? Or whatever the number is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be Lucas
Right.
Oil. Any company.
Any
For the
company.
most GameStop, the company that we're talking about. Their whole goal is to stay in business
Right.
and to make sure that they employ people so they stay
Right.
in business.
Right.
Right. That's what they're trying to do.
Yep.
And so those people's livelihoods, including the guys running the company, is also being affected because if the stock goes down completely, the company goes bankrupt, they close shop.
Right.
So CEO doesn't got a job no more.
right.
And it's not going to be looked at good because people are like, well, your business failed. I don't know if I want you running my company. Right.
Right.
So like that guy's livelihood's even affected. So
And then if like you're
his
the
pay's
and then,
probably
like,
GameStop stock.
if you're the owner and CEO, You know, like you're
Correct.
the owner and CEO.
Yeah.
Now you're just
Double
SOL.
screwed. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
Like,
so
where do you go from there?
and it's so I get both sides. I don't want to sit there and say like, yeah, rich people can't just be rich. I don't want to be like that. I also don't think that we should be like, ha ha ha, look at me. What was that movie? I think we talked about it a little bit. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
And he goes up to the ring in space in a robot suit.
And
it's basically about like the wealthy people and all the poor people are down on Earth. You know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
man, yeah,
Is it Elysium?
I think so.
Is that what it was called?
I think so.
And they were like going up and there's like this ring in the
Yeah.
outside of Earth, like orbiting Earth or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's like all the rich people. I
Yep.
don't want to be in a society like that. That's not a good society.
No.
And it's so, and we're almost there, you know? Like
And down here it's just chaos.
I mean, like, I had a medical issue where I needed to go to the doctor.
Right.
Luckily, my wife's job provides me insurance. If she didn't, I
Oh,
would have
man.
been screwed just for the scans to find out if I had cancer. Just for the scans, just to find out if I was going to die.
So
That's insane, man.
speaking of medical stuff, right?
Yep.
There's the United States Army veteran.
Okay.
His last name is Lee.
Okay.
So I think he was a sergeant when he got out, or staff sergeant. I can't remember. But this man's family and him, he's been in and out of the hospital for traumatic brain injury and cancer.
okay.
Like, dude, I mean, the guy's one of the toughest human beings on the planet,
Okay.
right? But his family, all of his medical bills, all of that stuff, have asked that nobody actually fundraise for them.
Okay.
I don't know how they do that. And like, I look at a situation like that, like Sergeant Lee's situation,
Mm-hmm.
where he's given everything for his country.
Right.
Like, he's given up his family time,
Mm-hmm.
he's given up his body, his mind, his health.
Right. Like his entire existence.
He's given up everything
Mhm.
short of dying, because he just refuses to die. Is Lee Hernandez is his name.
Okay.
He's given up everything. Why can't these billionaires
Right.
reinvest back into the medical system
Mm-hmm.
so that like all of America, like everyone, can just have free healthcare?
Correct. I
Like,
mean,
it's
dude,
not-
you're talking about stuff that once again is a relatively progressive policy and a progressive stance.
Yeah.
I have a conflict on that whole topic. I actually believe that the internet is a human right more so than healthcare, but healthcare is really close. The
Yeah.
reason I say the internet is because the internet now is so ingrained in our life.
Well,
that,
and
like,
the internet
restricting
is
people's
just,
access to it.
it shouldn't be anything, right?
Right, but what I'm saying is like there are people that still don't even have, like there's still people on dial-up, which is access to the internet, but it's not access to the internet. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
there's people that don't have that yet. With phones, it's helped a lot with like the connections of cellular
Yeah.
connections. We've given more people to the internet, but anyway, I digress. So the point is, we are in a situation right now, and that's what's behind this. Is you've got this Wall Street elite, established group of people, and they don't care about anybody else, and we're suffering. I mean, like it was a hard impact with insurance for me to go get all the scans. It
Yeah.
cost
Now imagine
one scan, and a visit to the doctor was like $1,000.
So now imagine, right? You got your one scan was $1,000 with a visit to the doctor.
Correct.
Now imagine
With insurance.
With insurance. So now imagine that you have your insurance. So like the VA,
Mhm.
right? Told Sergeant Hernandez's wife just to let him die.
Well, right. I mean, but that's the whole thing about.
And now they have all of these extra medical bills, right? Because he's not only getting the one scan, he's getting 17, 18
Right.
hospitalizations,
Right.
freaking
Oh,
medicine,
dude.
medicine that he's
hospitalizations. Dude,
Yeah.
You go to the doctor. Let's say you got like. Let's
my
say you're-
heart surgery,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
My heart surgery. I got a mock bill for my heart surgery because the Army covered it,
Right. Sure.
right? Because I was still in the military when all my shit happened.
Right.
My heart surgery alone was $490,000.
Oh yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah, dude. That sounds normal. Isn't that crazy? But by the way,
And I wasn't even shocked by the bill.
But by the way, that's an American thing. I mean, like, I'm sure you've heard the stats, like, a bag of saline, you in the hospital, a saline drip.
Yeah.
In the United States, the average cost to administer a saline drip is like $390 for one bag.
That's insane.
In France, England, under socialized medicine, $6 a bag.
Do you know? Okay.
There was a streamer who was rolling around. She said that she was in the United States and she wanted to fly, and whoever the flight thing, they had a thing where you could purchase a test for COVID, and it was $160 per test, and she had to take 2 because she flew 2 places in the United States, then to France. So it was like she had to go a layover and then to France. She had to spend $320 in the United States. In France, she was heading back to the United States to get the same test. It was free because they give it to everybody so that they could be safe. You see the difference. And yes, there is a cost that's associated, right? And someone's paying that cost.
Right.
But it's not the individual at that point in time wanting to get on a flight paying $320 total to get 2 places, right? And that just shows you the craziness and difference. But once again, we are a consumeristic and capitalistically driven society that is all about cash flow. I don't think it's going to change. I don't know how it's going to change. But until that changes, stuff like your $500, that didn't even blink, dude. You said $500,000, like, okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is like, I didn't blink either. When I got the bill, I was like, oh, looks like I'm in debt forever.
Right, yeah. Well, imagine if you weren't in the military and you didn't have
And then, I took it to the military lawyer. That's how I found out it was a mock bill, because it didn't even say that it was a mock bill.
Right.
I just thought I got a bill for fucking $500K.
Right.
And I was like, all right. This is how I leave the military then. Jackie said that like one of her friends got in a car accident in the 80s, and for an ambulance to take them 1 block up the road was $900.
Say it again. One more time.
Jackie had a friend who in the 80s got into a car accident. 1 block from the hospital.
Yep.
The ambulance ride.
Correct. Cost $900.
$900.
Yes. Now, by the way, that number, just so people are aware, the
like
number now is about
$24,000.
it's $2,400. So for someone to come out, an ambulance to take me to the hospital, the closest hospital is 4 miles to the west.
Yeah.
It would cost $2,500 to transport.
Do you know how much it costs to take an Uber?
Not that much.
$11.
Right? And the Uber probably get here faster than the ambulance.
Yeah. Because the Uber knows where you live.
Right. Right. Yeah. Isn't that crazy though? It's just that's where we are as a society. But that's an American problem. And sure, there's tax rates and all this stuff that we could argue and talk about. But when it really comes down to it, there is a problem with how much things cost here. And once again, though, but if you're a billionaire,
it doesn't matter.
I could get 6 heart surgeries a week.
Right. And not even flinch.
And not even flinch, right? Because they don't care. Because they don't care about that.
And so, miraculously be healed and out of the hospital within a day and a half.
Right. Well, I mean, like, look at Magic Johnson, right? You've seen the South Park episode.
I mean, he's had AIDS forever.
Right. He's had AIDS, but most people were dying.
Yeah.
When he wasn't. And South Park made an episode where he was basically, they were taking
just
all of his
throwing money
and putting his money into like an IV, and it was just injecting the dollars into his veins or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man. But I don't know, man. Chat. I hope that every single person here never has to go
what's
through
his
something
face?
like that.
What's his face? The senator that got shot in the face while duck hunting.
I don't remember this story. Sorry.
Oh, what was his name?
Shot in the face with duck hunting. Don't go duck hunting with those people.
Well, it was quail hunting. It was quail hunting.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember who it was.
I thought, what's his face? George, the vice president, shot somebody in the butt. Right?
No, I'm pretty sure he got shot in the head. Like.
Oh, well, no, I'm just saying George, who was the vice president for George W. Bush? Who was the vice president? Cheney? Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney shot someone in the butt when they were hunting, right?
I thought he shot somebody in the head.
I know. I thought he shot him in the butt. I thought it was a butt cheek shot.
Yeah, I was pretty sure Dick Cheney shot somebody in the head with like.
Let's look.
Bird shot.
Dick Cheney shooting accident. Okay. Dick Cheney hunting accident.
And then they just
accidentally shot Harry Winnington, then 78-year-old Texas attorney, with a 28-gauge Perazzi shotgun while participating in a quail hunt.
In the face.
Hold on. It just says shot him. Hold on. The incident reported shooting incident public afternoon on February 14th. Winnington suffered a non-fatal heart attack and atrial fibrillation due to at least one lead shot pellet lodged in or near his heart. But that means
So he shot him in the face, and the pellets went in his heart too.
he also had a collapsed lung. No, I think it was a chest shot, dude.
So
The Bush administration closed the shooting incident.
I'm pretty sure Katarian remembers this too. He shot him in the face.
Report the shooting and witness statements. Hold on. Shooting incident. Day of shooting. The shooting was widely reported to have taken place on Saturday. In her written statement, she said that the shooting happened on February 12th. Harry Whittington said shortly accidents do happen, and that's what happened. Somebody had talked to some ranch and Secret Service. I'm trying to find it here. I don't see the details. I'm sorry, Chad. I can't find it here really quick. Yeah, I don't know. But hey, we're at 2 hours, man.
So this one by AP News. Harry Whittington was a get out of here, Ad. A longtime Austin lawyer and a largely behind-the-scenes player of the Texas Republican politics. February 2006, he became a central actor. Blah blah blah. At the Corpus Christi Caller Times reports Whittington, then 78, was part of a quail hunting party in South Texas ranch with Cheney when Vice President accidentally shot him in the face and torso after cavea of game birds took flight.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it was like a shot like here. Like this
Yeah,
is the spread. So like cheek.
My bad.
God. I mean, but in order for him to hit that much, it was at range. Right? So a spread like this.
Yeah, he was probably
like 20 yards.
He was probably 15, 20 yards away.
Yeah, 20 yards,
but he got shot in the face and the chest.
Yeah. Right.
Got to the hospital, got treatment, and because they're in that upper echelon of money,
too. Yeah, dude,
nobody even flinched on it.
No, nobody cares, right? But if that happened with two dudes, like you and me going out there and I shoot you in the face.
Don't shoot me in the face.
Yeah, please don't.
Don't do that.
No, I don't want to. I'm smart enough to not shoot you in the face.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Obviously had training to not shoot you in the face.
Right, yeah. So
or to shoot you in the face.
Or two, depending on the situation, right, right. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be pulling that, right? Because I had a dad who taught me from a young age. Safety, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, all right, chat. We've hit 2 hours. We need to get going. I need some Taco Bell.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
I'm ready for our Taco Bell lunch. I think this might be our thing. I'm Tuesday hungry. Taco Bell lunch.
Yeah. Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, dude. Yeah, it is. It is. But hey, speaking of Tuesdays,
we'll see you
next Tuesday.